around to you, because I think at least at some point it was the longest rush distance in that. So Sounder with the freaky split there, I'm not sure what he did. He like send everyone individually or something. But Burnslough spawning as Zerg, so beautiful. Zerg on scrap station. I don't think he could hope for a better situation, really.
Yeah, that's a perfect balance for him. I got to say, if I'm Zerg and I was ever an underdog in any way, I would want to be on Scrap Station. It's the perfect map because it can have a short rust distance later game. It's got short by air, so it's great for mutas. You've got a really well protected natural expansion that's close by. The front of your base doesn't have much exposure to having Reapers jump up. But the only difference that some people complain about is that the south position or the rightmost position, the creep doesn't actually extend all the way to your ramp. Whereas if you spawn in the north one, it does, which is an honest weird balance idea. You can actually just plant spine crawlers if you're in the north position, but on the south position you need to expand it with a little creep tumor at first. Kind of weird.
Yeah, and I would actually like to see Burnslough sort of hold off in the scouting just for a little bit, because unless Sounder decides to send out a very early probe, he's not going to know what Burnslough is. And we see that he doesn't know because he put down the pylon and the gateway at the in the middle of his base instead of toward the front. Generally, when I'm playing personally against random players, I like to try to put the buildings, put the first pylon a little bit in front of the nexus, about midway between the ramp and the nexus, so that if I want to wall off and I discover that he is a Zerg player, I have the option to. But he's sort of committing to this, and he's gonna have a lot of problems with lings with his base construction if he's not careful.
Yeah, right off the bat, I can tell he's got that strange build order again. He went, for any Zerg fans out there looking for opening build orders, he went Overlord on 9, but then Extractor Trick, or sorry, Overlord on 10 and Extractor Trick, which is actually inferior to Overlord on 9 if you're going for a 14 pool. And then he went Pool first and then Gas, which again is kind of backwards. And frankly, on this map, you're almost always safe going for a 14 or 15 hatch for your expansion first. I would never fault a player for choosing that. But even going defensively, he kind of flip the order of his buildings a little bit. I'd like to see that change, but still good opening, and he definitely has the advantage that Sounder has such a wide open base. Sounder's now kind of compensating for it by trying to get this SimCity kind of wall off on his peon line a little bit, but we'll have to see where his build order is going to go from there.
Yeah, and it's a weird situation. I mean, we've seen Zergs take cross positions and maps like Scrap Station and just decide not to expand early. And he is getting his second gas very, very, very quickly for Burnslough. So I'm interested if he's going for a fast tech kind of build. Now that he's seen what the base looks like, he should realize that he can sort of just try to run in some lings into the mineral line and do as much damage as he can. Because I do like Sounder's base construction for what it is, but at the end of the day, all these little holes leave his defense quite porous. And he's putting a Zealot in his mineral line, hopefully to try to defend. And yeah, Sounder, a very cool base construction. I just wish he would use his Chrono Boost a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like that Forge first, I have to wonder if he's being a little defensive with cannons or if he's looking, I hope he's going for a weapons upgrade. That would be the
there we go, +1 timing push.
This is a strange build order for Burnslough. I gotta say, to expand so late, but to get a second gas so early, that to me screams mutas. That's probably the only thing that needs that much gas this early on. But at the same time, he's kind of given away his hand here because, like you said, it looked like he had a nice little Ling Rush opening that he could have done, but now he's not going to be able to. So we'll have to see. But my money is on mutas at the moment. That's pretty much the only reason why you need double gas so fast. But if it is mutas, he's certainly taking his time getting to tier 2.
Yeah, and Sounder, this is a really elegant timing push. I mean, he's getting out his Forge. He saved up his Chrono particularly for that, getting out his 4 gates. So it's going to be a very, very strong push. I'd like to see him throw up a proxy somewhere, possibly around here, or around here are really, really popular locations, or even back here, closer to the natural. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough push to stop because Burnslough doesn't have any tech. He doesn't even have a Roach Warren out yet. He doesn't have a layer. All he can really do is afford some Zerglings. Oh my god, and is he 5-gating? Oh god, so he is going to 5-gate. One of the interesting things about the patch is that since it changes Zealot timing, if you're going for a very Zealot-heavy build, a 5-gate is actually a little bit more reasonable than it was before, just because it takes longer to get the Zealots out, so that extra production cycle that you get from that extra gate allows you to get a similar-looking army to the pre-patch 1.1 4-gate. So I'm curious to see if he's just going for a lot of Zealot Sentry, and I think that'll be particularly strong, but Zerg play is going to have adequate time to prepare, and he's
And you
getting
can
his layer now and a Roach Warren.
Yeah, and you could see he had to do that. Was that creep tumor we were talking about? He had to get a creep tumor in order to get that spine crawler positioned correctly,
Yes,
whereas
yes.
the other location doesn't need that. But okay, so now I'll say that it looks like he's in a good position to go for roaches. He could be going roach hydra and just knew he would need the gas early on, unless he's just going to have roaches in case he needs them and still go for mutas. So we'll have to see if Aspire goes up right about now. Well, he's about 100 minerals short, but Aspire will either go up or not within the next few seconds, and then we'll know if he's planning on air.
Yeah, so Sounder is committing to this 5-gate Zealot Sentry timing
There's
push.
Aspire.
Yeah, and the Spire is coming up. It's definitely not going to be out in time for this push. But if we look at the unit counting station, there's only 9 Lings on the field, only 1 Roach being produced, and he's relying on the Spine Crawler defense. So I don't think it's actually going to be enough. I mean, he needs to pump out some units like right now. And the Protoss player is reinforcing with a pylon. I'd like to see him put a earlier and closer pylon out. But right now, yeah, this is not really good. You need to throw down the Guardian Shield to defend against some Spine Crawler because it does reduce the damage a little bit. Focusing all those Spine Crawlers down, really, really nice play. Make sure that they can't go to town on the Zealots. And right now, he's in big trouble. He's producing nothing. Finally, 4 Roaches coming out. And his fire is only 75% of the way done.
Yep, he was pretty supply blocked for a while there, and he just, I like that he got the roaches, expecting to use them if he needed them, but he ended up not really using them. And now here he is finally making 10 Lings and 4 roaches, so if this doesn't hold it off, he's going to get it. But he's got 1 more production cycle to try and push him out of his base. But so many units are just flooding in. Look at that, 4 more Zealots and 3 more Stalkers. That's more units than he can handle.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him use his force fields a little bit better because he is losing sentries with quite a bit of energy since he made a few a bit earlier, but at this point it's not really going to matter. I mean, the economy for the Zerg player is about to be completely shot once he loses all these drones at the main. That Spire isn't being used at all. 2 mutas being produced out of all of that. So I think the timing was just a little bit slow. I mean, he scouted ahead of time. He should have known to pump out some units because he saw 5 gates and a forge. So I don't know. I think the Zerg player, he had Scrap Station. He could have fast expanded, just gone for more conventional builds, and he took a risk, and he's really paying for it.
Yeah, he got too greedy with the mutas. Really, it's kind of like when you're first climbing the ladder, you can just go right for mutas, and then your opponent will be terrible, and you'll just win with mutas. And there's the good game. So Sounder's going to go ahead and win this round. But like I was saying,